Friday, August 15th, and if you're drudging through the end of your work week, don't worry, your boys are here to help you get through the rest of it. That's right, a little lunchtime, a little different from where we've been. Those of you that have been following us in our NFL preseason previews, we appreciate y'all. We did this a lot during the summer. We're going to be doing this all throughout football season. I'll have a rotating cornucopia of people in Mack's seat. Mack will be there sometimes too. Relax. We've got it covered. But here we are on a Friday, Mack, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. How in the hell are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. It's exciting. This is a fun time of year, and I'm going to add one more thing. It's kind of special. I'm not going tonight, but I know tonight, high school football, the jamborees start, and there's a great one up in town here. Some really good teams. So we're getting close to high school sports starting. I know I'm going tomorrow to the junior high football jamboree. Going to watch some kids down there playing. I mean, it's a lot of fun. High school starts. Once high school starts, college football's right around the play. Baseball playoffs. Before you know it, NBA and NHL. Man, it's just a great time.
What a time to be alive. What a time to be Robert McIntyre at the BMW Championship right now. The dude is on fire, man. That putter is absolutely freaking ridiculous and could be the very reason that I hand you another Moss Cup, which I'm not looking forward to. But plenty of golf left to play. We're going to talk about what's happening at Caves Valley here in a little bit. Baseball, we've got the Cubs and Pirates in the bottom of the second inning. There's no score there. The Cubs looking to try and figure out what the hell's going on right now, because it's been a rough go of it for the Cubs, and we're starting to see their frustration. I know you're going to have some thoughts about Pete Crow Armstrong in your 60 this weekend, but this Cubs team, we were waiting for them to run away from the division, or from the division, and the Brewers just said, "Nah, we got this."
I mean, absolutely amazing. I mean, what the Brewers have done, and we talked about how much we love Murph. I mean, he's just, they're a fun team to watch because they just do all the little things that we complain about. We watch our teams, the Red Sox and the Giants, and we complain about them. They don't run the bases well, they don't bunt, they don't do all these little things. And you watch the Brewers, they do it all. They win games with a home run, they win games with a bunt, they play good defense. I mean, can they sustain it? Man, I hope so, because they really are a fun baseball team to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And, thanks for nothing, Philadelphia. I go and pat you on the back the other day in one of my videos, and I finished it by saying, who do you trust more, the Phillies or the Brewers? And for me, it's the Phillies. And I still feel that way. Like, listen, I think what Milwaukee is doing is fantastic. I like a lot of the players that they have on their team. I mean, top to bottom, I mean, Bryce Terang is one of my favorite players to watch in all of Major League Baseball. And I wonder, and this sounds like I'm hating on him. I'm really not, man. The Brewers, what their spring training facility, one of my favorite ones to go to. It's a pain in the ass to get in and out of, but if you've ever been to the Midwest, a Brewers fan. I mean, they're the nicest friggin' people in the world. I know Cubs fans won't agree with this, but, rivalry put aside. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop with the Brewers, and the more and more they go, the more and more I don't know if that's going to happen. But, again, playoff past dictates some of my kind of feelings there, and I wonder if this is finally a Brewers team that can actually get the job done, get out of the first round of the playoffs. I mean, they're certainly talented. You got to feel great too, Mac, for Christian Yelich, who's been through the ringer there. Plenty of times in this day and age, you see guys that are like, get me the hell out of here. I'm not playing for you anymore. Yelich has never done that. Tonight, a big series starts for them with the Cincinnati Reds, who are gaining on a playoff spot too. But that's my hesitation with the Brewers, Mac, is I just wonder if they can actually get out of the first round of the playoffs. And they might not have to worry about that, because it looks right now like they're not going to play in the first round of the playoffs.
No, I understand it. I mean, there's certain teams, I think like, the Minnesota Twins, they make the playoffs and you just know that the Minnesota Twins are going to die in the first round. That's all there is to it. And Milwaukee has been the same way. They haven't had that October success. And so is this team a little bit different? I mean, I think part of it is that they don't count on one person. I mean, it's that entire lineup. It's Yelich and so on and so forth. Sal Frelick's in there. They've brought like Vaughn's come in and done a great job for them. I mean, so they have a lot of pieces. They don't count on any one piece. I think the biggest thing for me though is they have a closer. He's an amazing closer, and their starting pitching is
Your
solid.
lumberjack.
Man, he's
You love him.
I love him. So I mean, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, you would hope that they'll be able to continue this success. The type of baseball they play, I can see it being successful in October because they're not hitting home runs. In October, the rotations get swaddled down. You're facing the top two or three pitchers every time, and so you have to be able to manufacture runs. And what do the Milwaukee Brewers do? They manufacture runs. It's kind of like football. You talk about the teams that can run the football. Where are they successful in the playoffs? Because they run the ball and play defense. What do the Brewers do? They maneuver the ball and they play good defense. Should be
Yeah,
successful.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And this is an interesting stretch here for the Brewers because the people that are on my side of the fence that like wonder if they're really this good, well, here you go. They're at Cincinnati for 3. Then they're at Chicago for 5 in 4 days right after this. Then they get a practice series back at home against the Giants. Then they get the Diamondbacks in town for 4 games. And then they finish the month of August up in the Great White North against the Toronto Blue Jays. Possible World Series preview? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of baseball to be played. One thing here, and somebody mentioned this in our comments on a video we did a little while back here, and mentioned that the Brewers are doing it for for Bob Uecker, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year, and you know, I think that's a hard thing to put like kind of a quantification on, if you will, because maybe they are, and obviously Bob Uecker was not just a huge part of the Milwaukee Brewers franchise; he's a huge part of baseball in general. When they do host the Giants, when they come back off of this road trip that they're on here, they're doing a Bob Uecker golf umbrella on Saturday the 23rd, and then Sunday the 24th they're doing a Bob Uecker celebration of life. So I think it would be really cool this year for the Brewers to make a deep run. For me, it remains to be seen. By the way, Monday, August 25th, Miller High Life Monday, man. Somebody get me to Milwaukee for that series when they play the Diamondbacks. And then you mentioned Andrew Vaughn. And everybody laughed when the White Sox traded Vaughn to the Brewers. They're like, big deal. Who cares? Well, he's done so well for the Brewers, Mac, that on Tuesday, August 26th against the Diamondbacks, it's King Vaughn T-shirt day at Milwaukee. I mean, and that's the thing. And Andrew Vaughn, I think, to echo your point, Andrew Vaughn is the prototypical Brewers player, a cast-off that nobody wanted. White Sox said, "Yeah, see you later." And he just goes to Milwaukee, gets ingrained in the culture there, and turns into like a cult hero for him. So, for those that are waiting for the Brewers for the other shoe to drop, you're going to get that opportunity. I think when we leave August, I'm going to be able to look at it at the end of August when especially that series against the Cubs, 5 games in 4 days at Wrigley, and then they finish the month at Toronto. I think we're going to learn a lot about the Brewers. Now the Cubs. What the hell is going on in Chicago? Pete Crow Armstrong just wants the calendar to read September. Kyle Tucker's tossing his helmet in the dugout with a velocity of 94 miles an hour. I mean, this team they're 8 games behind the Brewers now, Mac. 8 games behind the Brewers.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of absolutely a little mind-boggling because about a month ago the Cubs had a few games on the Brewers and it's just completely fallen apart. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously you can't put it all on PCA. I mean, he's having a bad month, but somebody else has to pick him up, and they just it's one of those things that we've seen a couple of teams. I mean, you've seen it like with the Mets too. It's just like the offense can't get started, and it's the same with the Cubs. They just can't get anything going, and we always think this is the time for the Cubs, July, August. Wrigley Field, it's flowing. It's like this is the time where the Cubs, even when the Cubs are bad, the Cubs are always seem like they're good in July and August, you
Mhm.
know? And so it's just a combination of things. The pitching's been okay at times, but there's just no momentum on that team. And I don't know if they've just kind of all of a sudden looked in their rearview mirror and go, here comes the Milwaukee Brewer truck, and it just kind of ran them over, and that was it. But they just can't shake themselves right now. It's kind of weird. Like you said, we've seen the Mets kind of in the same way. They're just in this team offensive slump. They can't get anything going.
Yeah, feel free to comment along if you're watching along. We appreciate you. Follow us on all of our social channels at Mike Arana Show, everywhere but Snapchat. And we're not on Snapchat because TJ's not here today. I have to say it. We're not on Snapchat because Snapchat sucks and we're not 12. Dollar Dingers, because it's Friday, will be coming up shortly after we finish here at about an hour from now. So about 1 o'clock on the West Coast, 4 o'clock on the East Coast. Top of the third right now, Cubs and Pirates knotted at zeros, one on, one out. Colin Ray on the bump today for the Cubs. And you mentioned the pitching, Mac, and the interesting thing here is we knew that the Cubs were going to be up against it when they lost Justin Steele. And, Jamison Tyone is supposed to be back soon. Matthew Boyd has been absolutely fantastic for the Cubs this year. And, we're in this, speaking of the Pirates as well, we're in this position here where we think that Paul Skeens, and it looks like at least the betting odds favorite to win the Cy Young in the National League is Paul Skeens. I'm going to have a big problem if Skeens ends up with the Cy Young. And you're going to tell me that wins are not a pitcher stat, and I understand that. But when I'm looking at a guy like Matt Boyd, for example, he's 11-6. I get it. That doesn't really wow you. But this dude has 126 strikeouts in 142 innings and an ERA of 2.46. I get it. Skeens has better numbers there. But at some point, I've got to go, hey, I get it, but I'd like to see the Cy Young go to a guy whose team is actually going to make the playoffs because he had something to do with that. And that's no knock on Skeens. I mean, we know how phenomenal Paul Skeens is and how phenomenal he will be for the long haul, whether that's in a Pirate uniform or not. But outside of Matt Boyd and Colin Ray, who's been better as of late, I mean, yeah, you nailed it. The problem with the Cubs is they're getting nothing from their pitchers.
Yeah, no, and I looked just real quickly, just to backtrack just a little bit, their team batting average in the last 10 games, 221. A team
Ugh.
average. Yeah. I mean, and then I'm looking at 221, 12 home runs as a team, 30 RBIs in the last 10 games. I
That's
mean, I mean, yeah, we can talk about pitching, but a part of that right there is, gosh, if you can't score, you're in a lot of world of hurt, So
yeah, as
I
TJ.
didn't think it was that bad. I mean, so I
No,
agree
yeah,
with it. It's bad.
it's been brutal. And as TJ would say, right now they couldn't score with a fistful of 50s on Fifth Street. We look at the National League wild card race. The Cubs are still in a prime position there. They're 4.5 games up on the Dodgers. Hey, it's August 15th. The Dodgers are not in first place. My prediction did come true. But Cubs 4.5 up on the Dodgers, or 4.5 up in the first spot. They're a half game ahead of the Dodgers for the second spot. They're 4.5 games up on the Mets, who are only a half game ahead of the Reds. So we're talking Brewers and Reds and pocket pancakes for Pat Murphy, and that series starts, unfortunately, for most people tonight on Apple TV. Thanks for that one. But the Reds, the Reds are going to be throwing everything they can at Milwaukee tonight. And then I'm going to go ahead and just put the nail in St. Louis. They don't scare me. 3.5 games back. The Diamondbacks have now passed the Giants 4.5 games out. The Giants 5, Marlins at 6, and then sayonara to everybody else. Is there a real possibility here that we could be looking at the Mets missing the playoffs? I think it is a very real possibility.
Said both New York teams are not going to make the playoffs. That was my prediction. Now,
Mhm.
here's the only thing about the Reds that scares me. I love that they got Hunter Green back. He was phenomenal the other night. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. His stuff was electric. The Reds have in the rest of this their schedule, they have two ginormous road trips. They have a 9-game road trip to the Angels, Arizona, and the Dodgers, and then they have another one, San Diego, the Athletics, and St. Louis. They have two big 9-game road trips, and in between those two, they have to play Toronto and the New York Mets. That's a that's a pretty big stretch. I mean, obviously it goes without saying if they can get through that first stretch, that first set of games on the West Coast, and still be in it. Toronto and New York at home, the Mets. Obviously, that series with the Mets would be a big series probably at that time. But then having to go on the road again, it's a daunting schedule. But look what the Reds did. They went out in the offseason, they got Brady Singer, who's had a good year. I mean, 10-9, 4.31 ERA. I mean, he's done what they've asked him to do, but it's about Andrew Abbott. I mean, you talk about Cy Young. There's your
Mhm.
guy, Mike, right?
Yep.
8-3, 2.41. But I mean, is he even mentioned?
Nope.
Yeah, but why not?
I know.
Again, playoff team, right on the fringe, half game out. I mean, he's been their best pitcher all year. And did you hear me? 2.41 ERA in that little stadium that they play in.
Mhm. That
I mean,
bandbox.
come on. I mean,
Yeah. When you look at the layout against Milwaukee, Milwaukee still has not announced a starter for a game that starts in like 4 hours, less than 4 hours from now. But Nick Tight Pants Martinez, according to Bud Grant, will be on the mound tonight for them. Zach Littell and Quinn Priester tomorrow, and then the Sunday finale of that series will be Andrew Abbott and Jose Quintana. Brady Singer will pitch on Monday in Anaheim against the Halos, and then Hunter Green will pitch on the second game of that series in Anaheim against Kyle Hendricks. So, I think the National League wildcard race is going to be very, very interesting down the stretch. And the biggest reason for that is what's happening out west. The Dodgers and Padres, they get going tonight in their second to last series. So I have to correct myself from earlier in the week, but it still echoes my point that, what the hell are we doing with the schedule here? That the Dodgers and Padres, as of next weekend, will be done playing each other for the rest of this season. I mean, that is absolutely mind-blowing to me and ridiculous that we're in this case. I mean, it's not hard math. The Padres tonight, undecided. It was supposed to be Michael King, who made one start. Now he's back on the injured list against Clayton Kershaw to start that series. But I don't understand what the malfunction is with Rob Manfred here. You've got 5 teams in each division. Your final 12 games should be against the teams in your division. It is absolute bullshit, for lack of a better word, that we're going to see the 2 best teams in the West that dictate a lot of what happens in the National League playoff picture not play again after next weekend. Like, there's no reason for that.
Well, I'll say it on the front side as well. The Red Sox and Yankees didn't play until July. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and so, you don't, I get not wanting to start the season with that, but like, May or June, like they should play in there. I, I kind of go back and forth with the schedule. I mean, I like the fact that, every year every year you're playing everybody, and every other year you've got somebody, coming home. Like I'm very excited. In less than a month now, the Red Sox are going to be down in the Valley, and I'll get to go see the Red Sox play. I mean, that's fun. That's exciting for me. But I'm going to be honest. There's a part of me that I miss the grind of the year of the seasons where you played everybody in your division 19 times. I mean, there was just something about that that I know a lot of people didn't like it because it's like it felt like overkill. But for me, like with baseball's overkill anyway. You're playing 162 games. Um, you know, I don't know. I go back and forth on that a little bit. But you're right. The last month of the season should you should be playing within your division without a doubt. I mean, it's funny to me. I looked at some of these like Seattle. Seattle ends the year. Hey guys, what's going on?
Urban Rod checking in our
Yeah.
boys.
Seattle ends the year. You figure they could be battling for the American League West. Their last two series are at home against Colorado and the Dodgers. Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, come on. How is that not,
It's not a bad idea.
No, but I mean, I don't get it. You're right. It just the scheduling is weird.
Yeah, and you look, we go into Saturday, Padres of past and Padres of current. Dylan Cease and Blake Snell is the matchup on Saturday night from the world's largest outdoor toilet, Chavez Ravine. But, here is something that I do like. Now, I will go on the other side of what you said there. And yes, the baseball schedule, and I agree with Herb and Raj there. Like, I think there is something to say about, ending it right before football got going and getting into your playoffs. I mean, that would cut a significant amount of games off. I do like the fact that everybody plays everybody now. But yeah, there's zero reason why you shouldn't finish. I mean, Giants Dodgers it happened a couple years ago. We even did a video on it. Why the hell did the Giants and Dodgers play their last series against each other in August that year as well? Now, here's something I do like. And it's just a quirk, and it goes against what I said. But here's the Dodgers' end of their season schedule: Philadelphia, San Francisco, at Arizona, at Seattle. So the Dodgers finish at Seattle, and that series for both of those two teams is probably going to be very meaningful because the Astros in the battle right now, and we'll talk about the American League here in just a second. But the Astros in that battle with the Mariners out west, and that's going to dictate what happens in the AL wild card race as well. So I mean, that's one of those rando gems that just happen to work out, and everybody's going to go, oh, Dodgers, Mariners to end the season. And I get it. At the beginning of the year, you have no idea who's going to be good. I mean, you have no idea who's going to come out of the gates and then literally shit themselves up and down their leg every single time they play. I mean, I might be talking about the Giants. I might not be. Who knows at this point? But I just it's mind-blowing to me, and it's something that I think definitely needs to be changed. I do like the fact that everybody plays everybody. I don't like the fact that, we're sitting here and next weekend we have no more Dodgers Padres. Especially the Dodgers and Padres, man. They freaking hate each other. I want to see that at the end of the season with everything on the line.
I mean, that would be a whole lot of fun. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, that's a must watch tonight, right? I mean, all weekend. That's a must watch. That's got to be your nighttime game without a doubt. Like you said, those two teams hate each other. I mean, I'm just waiting for the first fastball to hit Tatis or Machado in the back. That's all I'm waiting for. Well, one to get close, and that'll start it. It's not like and the Dodgers can't afford any injuries, so
No.
But yeah, that's some fun stuff right there.
Hey, and shout out to the Philadelphia Phillies, because we talked about this a lot when we were doing our spring training tours of all the Major League Baseball teams this year, and how many of these teams could realistically go to a six-man rotation. The Phillies announced the other day that they will be using a six-man rotation when Aaron Nola comes back. So we're finally going to see it. And I'd rather see a six-man rotation than this freaking heavy guy, which used to be called an opener. Now it's called the heavy guy. Whatever. You can call it. You can polish a turd any way you want to. It's still bullshit to see a bullpen game from the onset. So hopefully we don't have a ton of those left. Let's look at the American League side, Mac. Your Red Sox standing firm in the second wild card position, right behind the Mariners and a couple of games ahead of the Yankees. Again, that AL West battle separated by a game going into today. The Astros at 68-53, Mariners at 67-55. So a game and a half, apples and oranges. But the Mariners have been red hot, 8-2 in their last 10. They have lost 2 in a row. And an interesting series this weekend, a key series this weekend against the Mets. And if I remember correctly, don't quote me on this, but if I believe the Sunday game is the Little League Classic or whatever the hell they're calling it from Williamsport. That'll
Yeah.
be George Kirby for the M's and Clay Holmes. That's a fun one to watch. The disaster at Bristol Motor Speedway never needs to be done again. But this game is always fun. I love seeing the big leaguers get out and interact with the little leaguers and everything else. And it's a really cool thing. That'll be something fun to see on Sunday night.
That's always cool, and that's again always a fun thing to watch if you haven't. You want to catch a couple of games. They had one little lefty. I forget where he was. I want to say South or North Dakota or something like that. Was thrown. I mean, they had it like 86 miles an hour is what it averaged out to. From that distance, and that Little League World Series is so much fun. But yeah, to see growing up. I mean, that's the thing. It's summer. It's Little League baseball. It doesn't matter what community you're in. There's a Little League team around, and it's so much fun to see them. I know when Jonathan was playing, a lot of the kids went up to Cooperstown, not for the Little League World Series, but there's like big competitions that they have up there, and they do a tremendous job with those kids. It's a memory that they'll have for the rest of their life, and they just do a really really good job up at Cooperstown.
Interesting stretch here for the Mariners. So this series that they have against New York, then they go to Philadelphia. They return home for the A's, then the Padres. Then they're at Cleveland, who's playing great baseball right now, at Tampa Bay at Steinbrenner Field, and then Atlanta, St. Louis, the Angels, the Royals. They have a pretty easy go there from basically September 1st to September 14th or September 18th. And then they got Houston. They've got that 3-game series in Houston. And then, of course, as we mentioned, they finished with the Dodgers. Have you warmed up to the idea that the Mariners are a legitimate threat in the American League? Because I know before the trade deadline, you weren't sold on them. You thought they were done. How's your tune changed on the Mariners now?
They are the roller coaster, right? I mean, they started off up top, then they bottomed out. The Astros took over. Then now they it went back up. Now they're going down. I mean, such a streaky team, and yeah, I have liked the Mariners. I mean, I have the last couple of years I've been there. I used to live down in Peoria. We used to be really close to a lot of the young guys there. I like what they have. They're just they're like so many of these teams, so inconsistent. I throw the Red Sox in there. There's weeks where the Red Sox look like they can win the whole thing. And then I watch them, a few days later and I'm like, gosh, I don't think they can make the playoffs. And I feel like Seattle's the same way. I think they're going to they're going to be in the playoffs one way or another. Let's just put it that way. I'll go out and say that. Whether they win the West or not, Seattle will be in the playoffs. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, and we've got an interesting setup here in the American League. The Tigers that kind of like hit some bumpy road there after the All-Star break, but you got the Jays at 71 and 51, the Tigers right on their heels at 71 and 52, and then the Astros at 68 and 53. Our three wild card teams as we stand right at this minute are the Mariners, Red Sox, and Yankees, with Cleveland right on the Yankees' heels. Texas, they were getting it going, and now they've kind of fallen back to the old Texas again. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row, and and they enter a series now against Toronto, which is they gotta get 2 of those 3 at least. And I'm interested to see how the American League shakes itself out, because I think there's some potential really, really interesting matchups as the way the American League sits right now with, the Mariners and the Red Sox. I think the Mariners and the Red Sox are 2 teams, and I know you're going to have some thoughts on this, but I think the Mariners and the Red Sox are the 2 most, like, what the hell are we getting out of these teams? Like, the Red Sox had kind of caught fire. It looked like the break kind of tripped them up a little bit. I think there's a lot of interesting possibilities to what shapes out to be the American League playoff picture with the teams that are currently in the mix. And again, the Guardians are right up the Yankees' ass, a half game out right now. And I think that's going to be very interesting to see if it, and TJ said it last weekend on his video. Stephen Vogt's making chicken salad out of chicken shit. I mean, they got rid of a bunch of stuff, and they've gotten better.
They've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. they've lost half their bullpen to all kinds of weird, betting. I'm like, again, I don't know how he's doing it. I mean, hands, together for vote. I mean, what a great job the last 2 years. I still think the Rangers are going to find a way to get into the wild card. I just do. I just think that staff is too good. Out of the three teams, if you take Cleveland, the Yankees, and Texas, I think the Rangers have a better staff than either of those teams. They just again, like, it just seems like for this year, I don't know, Mike, if it's me, like, so many teams are on this up and down, and I know it's part of the year, but it just seems like they've gone on these long stretches where they can't win, and then they can't lose. And the Rangers, like, for months couldn't win, and then all of a sudden they got hot. And so I mean, I think it's really going to come down to, like we saw last year, and that's what I was going to say. Kansas City's lurking at 4 games, and I keep thinking, wow, there's no way that the Royals can do it. And then I'm thinking, well, didn't we say that about the Royals last year about this
Mhm.
time? Like, there's no way they could do it. And before you know it, they've won a playoff series. So I start to wonder. I go, do the Royals find a way? Are we overlooking the Royals at this point because there's history there to what they can do. So I don't really think so. I'll be honest, this is good. I wish T was here, because I'll tell you, the team that really scares me is the Angels. And I know we kind of joked, like, against the better teams, they kind of play well. Against the crappy teams, they can't win. But this Angels team, the way they're constructed, like, I almost think they could be this year's Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, it's a real possibility. And I mean, I'm looking at Cleveland's schedule down the stretch here. They've got 6 with Texas. They play Seattle, they play Boston, they have 4 with Kansas City, and 6 with or 3 no, 6 with Detroit still. So if Cleveland's going to get there, they're going to go through it to get there. And the the thing with Texas is we've seen when their bats are actually not asleep, and they don't need an exorcism from Jobu, hats for bats. They're pretty damn good. It's their inconsistency of their offense is a thing, and they've got the series right now with Toronto, DeGrom and Bassett tonight, Corbin and Lauer tomorrow, and Nasty Nate and Barrios on Sunday. But they've got, after that, they have Kansas City, they have Cleveland, they have the Angels, they have Houston, they have Milwaukee, they have the Mets, they have Houston again, and then they finish with 3 against Cleveland. So again, scheduling quirk that's going to make Manfred look like a genius there. You've got Texas and Cleveland who could be fighting for the last wild card spot. They're playing each other to finish the season. Hey, this came out yesterday. I wanted to bend your ear on this because streaming is the new wave of everything in sports right now. This is from Andrew. Good Lord. Andrew Marchand on The Athletic. Major League Baseball executives are in negotiations that could result in new broadcast packages, as we know, and relationships with Netflix, ESPN, NBC, and Apple. NBC and Peacock and Apple TV are considered top contenders for Sunday night baseball and first-round playoff games, while ESPN could add weekday games and a bigger digital presence. Netflix has emerged as the potential home run derby destination. We know streaming is taking over sports. There's no way around it. It is what it is. And we know how big of a deal, and my point of the biggest contention with Manfred, and I understand in baseball, it's a long season. You have territories you have to sell. It's not a national weekly product like college football or the NFL. For me, I want to see it go to NBC and Peacock. I think that would be great. I know NBC wants to basically go from Sunday night football to Sunday night basketball, which they are, and then into Sunday night baseball. What do you think of having to go to Netflix to watch the home run derby?
Listen, I know we're right in the middle right now, Jonathan and I, of watching the Netflix, the series with the Red Sox from last season. We're right kind of smack dab in the middle of it. They do for those kind of packages, like, they do a tremendous job. Like, they're really, really good at telling the story. I think you think about the home run derby, you're telling a story. I mean, the home run derby is a story. I think Netflix, if they're going to do things like they do for these packages that they have, I think it would be great if they can pull that off. Now, doing that in a live format is a whole lot different than having 6 8 months to put together all your film and put it together. But I mean the process that they go through to put those together. I mean the Red Sox one, like you said, we're halfway through. We're watching it. It's absolutely amazing. I'd be interested to see what they could do with it because listen, the what we've had the last couple of years hasn't been good. So yeah, let somebody who can tell a story maybe tell that story.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. And again, people can complain about it and whine about it and bitch about it all they want. This is the reality of the situation. This is where sports is going. And, like, oh, I'm not gonna pay any. Do you think they really care when you go spout off on X that you're not gonna watch anymore? No, they don't, because there's enough people that will watch, and it is what it is. All right, let's play a little higher buy here, Mac. College football gets going next weekend on the 23rd, which we will be on the air Saturday morning, the 23rd, previewing all of college football, our national championship picks, our Heisman picks, this, that, and the other thing. It will be while Kansas State and Iowa State are playing. Sorry, I mean, doesn't excite me very much, especially in Dublin. But we've got some interesting stuff going down right now. Higher by, Mac, the Big Ten and the SEC, neither conference will win the national championship this year.
Oh man. I'm gonna neither will win.
Neither one. So your national champion will not be from the Big Ten or the SEC.
I think you're high. I'm all in on the Big Ten.
Do you want to tip your hat?
No, I don't. I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm all in. Some streaks don't end.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think, especially with the way they revamped the playoff format, and obviously we'll get way more into this next week. I think it'll be interesting to see how the new format dictates what ends up here. But when you look at the teams in the Big Ten this year, I mean, not Michigan, because we got news on Michigan today, but Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. I still. And again, we'll get way more into this next weekend. I still don't see the love for Penn State and what made them deserving of a number 2 preseason ranking. But then again, we've also talked about how big of a load of crap preseason rankings are. One of the voters, I think it was Reddit CFB on X, they posted like the breakdown, the matrix of who voted for who where. I can't remember who it was, but one of these people that has a vote, should not have a vote, actually put UNLV 12th in their preseason poll. Like, UNLV. Dan Mullen doesn't recruit. We know that. He hates recruiting. And what the hell would make you put UNLV in your top 25 regardless entering a season? So I think I'm very interested to see the shakeout of everything this year. I've had a couple people that have come in our mentions and say Ohio State's repeating. I would go on record right now before we even get to our show next Saturday. Ohio State's not going to win the national championship this year. That is a guaranteed Mike Arana liquid lock right there. Ohio State's not winning the title. I know Buckeyes fans think Ohio State's going to win the title every damn year, but
that's right.
It is what it is. This was Austin Meek on The Athletic. This came out this morning. The full ruling came out today by the NCAA's Committee on Infractions. Overwhelming evidence that Michigan engaged in an impermissible scouting scheme, but elected not to impose a postseason ban to avoid punishing players on Michigan's roster. Instead, Michigan will forfeit postseason revenue for the next 2 seasons and pay a fine equivalent to 10% of the program's budget. Former coach Jim Harbaugh, who doesn't care about this, received a 10-year show clause order that will take effect after the 4-year show clause that he received in a previous case. So basically, when we get to the nuts and bolts of this, Jim Harbaugh is never going to coach in college football again. I don't think that surprises you, does it?
Not at all. And and it's one of these things. It's like now I think Michigan probably has a good chance of winning the whole darn thing because they're going to be, that isn't that how it is? Like they're going to go out to prove that, oh, well, we're not really stealing any signs. We're not really doing anything wrong. They're going to go out and win the whole damn thing.
Yeah, current coach Jerome Moore received a 2-year show clause order, includes a total suspension of 3 games. In addition to the 2-game school-imposed suspension in week 3 and week 4 of this season, Moore is also going to be suspended for the first game of the 2026 season, currently scheduled to be played in Germany against Western Michigan. Man, taking him off the sidelines for that one's going to be tough.
Mike, I'm going to go on a mini rant here just for a second with this whole.
I knew I was setting that up.
Because it started again with, the Red Sox. They people are accusing them of stealing signs, because it's Alex Cora and probably Alex and Bregman and whatnot. But here's the deal. When you're a pitcher and you're digging in your glove like this, I mean, where major league players are going to figure that out. And we've seen it. There was just a video today at the Little League World Series. The Little League kids are giving signs to the hitters that a fastball's coming. Listen, it's part, it's called, some of it's called scouting, right? I mean, you're aware of this, right, Mike? Like you go watch a team you're going to play and somebody else is watching you play. And even when you call the plays out, they're calling the play out, knowing what you're doing. Flashback to you, right? You remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it happens. It's part of the game. I'm so sick of all of this stuff. The fact that you can't figure it out or do it the right way, that's your fault, not mine. Just saying. Get better. Be better.
Try harder.
Try harder.
That's not the first rant that we're going to have out of you here. Hey, BMW Championship, we are in round 2 finally. A couple of guys in. Robert McIntyre still leads in the clubhouse. A second round 64 today. Ludwig Oberg has moved up 5 spots to second, but he's 7 shots back. Kurt Kitayama, nice day from him so far, -2 through 14. But Mike versus Mack right now, it would be Mack, Mike, Mack, Mike. I don't know if we're going to get any separation out of this week unless Robert McIntyre wins. If McIntyre wins, I'm done.
It's over. If Mack wins, it's over. It's I can wear my Tour de France yellow shirt. It's the victory lap, and it's all will be good. Yeah. So we've had a lot of fun with that. That's I have to admit. I do every week. I enjoy that segment, having, we've gone back and forth on that so much. It's I'm a little sad that there's only 1 week left. There's nothing like Mike versus Mack.
Here's my wild card though. Last week I decided to play Scotty Scheffler. Those of you that are watching us for the first time, Mike versus Mack. We broke the season into stages. You can only use a guy once per stage, and then the points in the FedEx Cup are doubled. So if your guy finishes at the top of the leaderboard of the 6 guys, the 3 each that we picked, you get 12 points, 10 points, 8 points, so forth and so on. Last week, I almost got the win out of Scotty Scheffler, which would have made it a 10-point game going into the final 2 weeks here. Scotty Scheffler might still help me this week, because if Scotty Scheffler keeps Robert McIntyre from winning this week, that keeps me in this, depending on how some of these guys finish up. Rory McIlroy is 1 over through 7. Captain America Keegan Bradley is 1 over through 9. So a lot of guys still out on the course, especially after the delays that they had to deal with yesterday. Scheffler is 3 under right now through 7. So who's going to close the gap? Because right now the closest guy finished to McIntyre is Hideki Matsuyama in the clubhouse with the 64 today. Ludwig Oberg, 5 under today, is on 16. So it'll be interesting to see if Robert McIntyre can hold on to this, but the way his putter is going right now, it's going to be hard to run him down. The more fun thing that we're seeing here, as we know, the top 30 are the guys that move on to Eastlake next year, or next week, and will play for the FedEx Cup, which anybody can freaking win this year, which I like. Now, that being said, there's some interesting battles here, and I mentioned it in our video. Kurt Kitayama has to finish at T23 or better. Right now, he is 2 under through 14. He is tied for 20th place, so he would be inside the number to advance to next week. I want to give NBC credit for their coverage here, which is not something that a lot of people would have typically done on NBC's golf coverage, but last week having the adjusting top 50 board right above the leaderboard and getting to see how frequently it changed, and we had guys coming into 18 that were not in it to win for the week but needed, to hole out from 100 yards. That part's fun. I think it adds to the coverage. I think they've done a really good job with it. This is going to be a really interesting finish here. Let's go back to last week for a second. The St. Jude epic with Justin Rose and JJ Spawn down the stretch. And you, my friend, I wish I could have showed the text message exchange between me and you, because you were not a fan of how they finished that. Go ahead, I'll let you have it.
Oh, right. I mean, I've played golf before. There are 18 holes, right? I'm pretty sure. Why do we have to play the same freaking hole over and over and over and over? Oh, wait a minute. We're going to change the location of the hole. It's the same hole. Who cares? It'd make it so much more different. Oh, okay. I get it. They told us why. They said, listen, they don't want people having to go out, keep everybody in one spot. No, that's crap. You've got, how about a par 3? Mix in a par 3. Maybe somebody puts it in the drink on a par 3. How about a long par 4? How about a short par 4? That was absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, they played the same hole all those times, and 3 of the 4 times they played it. They had almost the exact same putt every single time. It was no different. It was like watching a rerun of the whole damn thing.
Groundhog Day on a golf course. Yeah, I agree with you. I do get the sense you don't need people sprinting across the golf course, trampling each other, but you can at least get back to 17. Maybe go 17, 18 alternate, something. Give us something there that's better than that. But then again, I'm the guy that is going to stand on my soapbox forever on this, that I think every major should go to an 18-hole playoff the next day. And they're going to go, well, that's not great for TV ratings. Listen, if the Masters has an 18-hole playoff on a Monday, people are going to friggin' watch. If the Open Championship has an 18-hole playoff on a Monday, people are going to friggin' watch.
Start it on Wednesday then. Who cares? I mean, right? I mean, what's the difference starting it on a Wednesday or a Thursday? It's not like more people are going to be taking time off. So start it on a Wednesday. They don't need to have 3 days of practice rounds. I mean, screw it. They've gone there and done it enough. And by the way, most of the courses I play, the holes are close together. It's not like, and here's the other thing. You want to know what other thing that bothered me? Here's the other thing. And I did say this to you. They get done on 18, right? What do they do to the golfers and the caddies? They put them in a cart and they drive them up to the fairway. I mean, to the tee box, right? Then when they get there, they tee off. Then they make them walk back. There's nobody. There's 2 guys. That time we're just saying, put them in the freaking cart. If you could up, let the cart down. So silly. Oh my gosh, it was awful. Oh, God, geez.
All right, relax. We got to keep your blood pressure in check here. Doubleheader preseason football tonight on the NFL Network. The Titans and Falcons, Chiefs and Seahawks. We've got pretty much everybody in action. And we have our first Monday night game of the season. Bengals and Commanders from Landover, Maryland on Monday. So plenty of stuff going on there. We'll have lots to talk about next week. NFC East on Tuesday, AFC East on Thursday, and again next Saturday, our college football preview show coming up here at the top of the hour on our social channels at Mike Arana Show. Dollar Dingers. Can we finally, to quote TJ, is this the week? Can we finally get it done? Let's go to some liquid locks here. Those of you that were just listening and we lost Mack's mic for a couple minutes, he didn't say anything that we had to beep out, so don't worry about it. again, as I told you guys when we started our NFL previews, a lot of stuff coming up, a lot more live content this season going into football season. And we're still doing some construction on all of our respective workspaces, aka studios here. So we're still working through a couple of things. We appreciate you guys hanging with us. All right, Liquid Locks today. I got a two-way play here. We talked about the series that gets going tonight with the Texas Rangers and the Blue Jays, Jacob deGrom and Chris Bassett from Toronto. I'm going to take the Jays on the money line there. I'm all on this Jays train. I've been on this Jays train for a while here. This team's throwing off some serious... T said something to us when we got off the show yesterday about the Padres and how they're throwing down some serious Miami Marlins, back then Florida Marlins vibes, back in the great hats, teal hats. I have one of those, actually. This Blue Jays team's throwing off a lot of Joe Carter Blue Jay team vibes to me. Great matchup tonight, deGrom and Bassett. If you have Apple TV, congrats, you'll get to watch it. If you don't, you'll just have to watch the highlights. But I'm taking the Jays on the money line. And then I like this matchup here as much as I kind of don't trust their offense right now. Luis Gil and Palante for the Cardinals tonight from Busch Stadium. I'm going to take the Yankees over 4.5 runs. So Yankees over 4.5 runs. Jays on the money line tonight. Matt, give me a liquid lock before we get up on out of here.
Before I do, I just saw this. Do you see who the Brewers announced as their starting pitcher for tonight?
Let's see if it's updated on here. No, I still got undecided on my end.
Miz.
Uh-oh.
Debated.
The Miz and Tight Pants Martinez from the Great American Bandbox tonight. Tickets as low as $20, by the way, if you want to go. Accurate weather forecast, 88 degrees in Cincinnati, which I'm sure is miserable.
That's a fun stadium. We've gone there multiple times. That's a fun stadium.
Milwaukee, a minus 145. Cincinnati, a plus 120 there. Go for it, Mac.
Here we go. I'm going to start in New York with the Mets and the Mariners. Luis Castillo, you know where I'm going. 17 and a half outs. 17 and a half outs. I'm actually taking the under. I think the Mets are going to get to Castillo tonight. I'm taking the under 17 and a half outs. Texas and Toronto. I like the under in that game. 7.5. I like the under deGrom and Bassett. I mean, I just don't think there'll be a whole lot of runs scored in this game. And I've watched Framber Valdez pitch his last couple of games. He hasn't pitched well. I'm going to take the over 5.5 hits, over 5.5 hits against Framber Valdez.
All right. Some interesting stuff across the bigs tonight. It should be a great weekend, players weekend. So a lot of fun to see the players get to express themselves a little bit. Harrison Bader's liquid bat, they actually have one that they made in wood for him. So should be an exciting weekend and a lot of good stuff there. Again, when we come back on Tuesday, at least in this forum, NFC East, we'll preview the NFC East, and we'll talk about the Cowboys from a football standpoint, not from a bullshit standpoint like Jerry Jones is trying to jam down our throats right now. The Eagles, and we know with the NFC East, we don't often see repeat champions. Do the Commanders have enough to take down the Eagles? Is there going to be a Super Bowl hangover? What about the Giants? We've got a lot of exciting young rookies. Show favorite Cam Scatterbo. And then on Thursday, the AFC East. And is this the year for the Buffalo Bills? And again, next Saturday, our college football preview. So Dollar Dingers coming up on the social channels here at Mike Arana Show. Everywhere but Snapchat. To everybody that checked in today, we appreciate you. For everybody behind the scenes, for TJ who's not here, for Vegas Mac, I'm Mike. We will talk to you later. Have a good weekend.